In the bustling city of Richmond, Virginia, stood the gleaming headquarters of TechBridge Enterprises, a leading technology company known for its cutting-edge innovations and rapid growth. At the helm of this corporate giant was Marcus Thompson, a 48-year-old African-American CEO who had defied the odds to build one of the most successful tech companies in the country. His rags-to-riches story was often touted as the epitome of the American dream, gracing the covers of business magazines and inspiring aspiring entrepreneurs across the nation. Marcus had always prided himself on running a tight ship, believing that his keen business acumen and strategic decision-making were the driving forces behind TechBridge's success. However, as he sat in his expansive corner office on the 30th floor, overlooking the James River, an unsettling feeling gnawed at him. Despite the company's financial success, there was a disconnect he couldn't quite put his finger on. Employee satisfaction scores had been steadily declining, and there was a palpable tension in the air that even his executive team couldn't explain. It was a crisp autumn morning when Marcus made a decision that would alter the course of his life and the future of TechBridge forever. Inspired by a reality TV show he had recently watched, he formulated a plan to go undercover within his own company. He would disguise himself as a janitor, working the night shift to observe and interact with employees when they thought no one was watching. The idea both thrilled and terrified him, but Marcus knew it was necessary to uncover the truth about what was really happening on the ground floor of his organization. With the help of his trusted confidant and head of human resources, Amelia Rodriguez, Marcus began to craft his alter ego. They decided on the name Michael Davis, a middle-aged man looking to start over after a series of setbacks. Amelia arranged for Michael to be hired through a temporary staffing agency, ensuring that his true identity remained a closely guarded secret. The transformation was painstaking. Marcus grew out his normally well-groomed hair and beard, adopted colored contact lenses to change his eye color, and practiced speaking with a slight southern drawl. He studied the mannerisms of the cleaning staff, learning how to blend in seamlessly. As the day of his first shift approached, Marcus found himself experiencing a range of emotions he hadn't felt in years: excitement, apprehension, and a gnawing fear of what he might discover. On a chilly Monday evening, Marcus, now Michael, reported for his first shift as a janitor at TechBridge Enterprises. The weight of the unfamiliar uniform felt strange on his shoulders as he pushed a cleaning cart through the lobby he usually strode through with confidence. The night security guard barely glanced at him, waving him through with a bored expression. It was the first of many eye-opening moments for Marcus, as he realized how invisible he had become. As he moved through the familiar, yet strangely foreign corridors of his own company, Marcus was struck by the stark contrast between the polished facade of the daytime operations and the after-hours reality. The pristine offices he was accustomed to were now littered with discarded coffee cups and crumpled papers. The hum of productivity had been replaced by an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional whir of a computer left running or the distant sound of a vacuum cleaner. Marcus's first week as Michael was a shock to his system. The physical demands of the job were immediately apparent as he scrubbed floors, emptied countless trash bins, and lugged heavy cleaning equipment from floor to floor. His hands, more accustomed to signing contracts and shaking hands with business partners, now burned from harsh cleaning chemicals. But it wasn't just the physical toll that surprised him. It was the way people, his own employees, looked at him, or rather, didn't look at him at all. As he moved through the offices, Marcus became acutely aware of his invisibility. Employees working late barely glanced up as he emptied their trash bins or wiped down their desks. He overheard snippets of conversations that ceased abruptly when he entered a room, only to resume in hushed tones once they thought he was out of earshot. The experience was both enlightening and deeply unsettling. Over the next few weeks, Marcus settled into his role as Michael, the night janitor. He began to notice patterns and dynamics among the late-night workers that he never would have seen from his executive suite. There was Emily Chen, a brilliant young software engineer who often stayed well past midnight, her dedication evident in the dark circles under her eyes. Marcus observed her innovative problem-solving skills, but also noticed how she was often overlooked in team meetings, her ideas dismissed by louder, more assertive colleagues. Then there was James Anderson, a middle manager whom Marcus had always thought of as a model employee. But in the late hours, James's true colors emerged. Marcus witnessed him taking credit for his subordinates' work and manipulating project timelines to make himself look better. The discovery left Marcus feeling betrayed and questioning his judgment of character. As the days turned into weeks, Marcus found himself forming unexpected connections with his fellow custodial staff. There was Rosa Martinez, a single mother working 2 jobs to support her children, whose unwavering optimism in the face of adversity humbled Marcus. And there was Frank Wilson, an older gentleman nearing retirement, whose wealth of knowledge about the company's history provided Marcus with invaluable insights. One particularly revealing night came when Marcus overheard a heated discussion between 2 department heads, Sarah Thompson and David Lee. Hidden from view as he cleaned nearby, Marcus listened as they argued over budget allocations and resource distribution. The conversation revealed a deep-seated resentment between different teams and a lack of communication that was hindering the company's progress. Marcus felt a pang of guilt, realizing that these issues had festered under his leadership without his knowledge. As his undercover operation continued, Marcus began to see his company through a completely different lens. He noticed the stark contrast between the sleek, modern upper floors where executives worked and the cramped, outdated spaces allocated to entry-level employees. He witnessed firsthand the impact of policies he had implemented without fully understanding their consequences. A new time-tracking system, for instance, which he had approved to increase productivity, was causing undue stress and resentment among the staff. One night, as Marcus was cleaning the break room, he came across a group of employees having an impromptu gathering. They were celebrating a coworker's birthday, sharing a simple cake and exchanging warm wishes. The camaraderie and genuine affection among the group touched Marcus deeply. He realized that in his pursuit of corporate success, he had overlooked the importance of fostering a sense of community within the company. However, not all of Marcus's discoveries were positive. He uncovered instances of discrimination that shocked him to his core. He observed how employees from minority backgrounds were subtly excluded from important conversations and passed over for promotions. As a black man who had fought against such prejudices throughout his career, Marcus felt a profound sense of failure that these issues persisted in the company he led. The most troubling revelation came when Marcus stumbled upon evidence of financial irregularities in the accounting department. Late one night, as he was emptying trash bins, he noticed discarded documents that didn't add up. Further investigation revealed a complex scheme of embezzlement that had been going on for months, right under his nose. The discovery left Marcus reeling, questioning everything he thought he knew about his company and the people he had trusted. As the weeks turned into months, the toll of leading a double life began to weigh heavily on Marcus. The physical strain of working nights and trying to maintain his duties as CEO during the day was exhausting. More than that, the emotional burden of carrying the secrets he had uncovered was becoming unbearable. He found himself lying awake during the day, his mind racing with all he had learned and the monumental task of addressing these issues. The breaking point came on a cold winter night, 3 months into his undercover mission. Marcus was cleaning the executive floor, lost in thought about how to tackle the myriad of problems he had discovered. As he turned a corner, he came face to face with Amelia Rodriguez, who had been working late. For a moment, they stared at each other in shocked silence. Amelia's eyes widened as she recognized Marcus despite his disguise. In that instant, the weight of his deception and the magnitude of what he had undertaken hit Marcus with full force. Amelia quickly ushered Marcus into a nearby conference room, locking the door behind them. As Marcus removed his janitorial cap, the facade he had maintained for months crumbled. He broke down, sharing with Amelia everything he had seen and heard: the discrimination, the embezzlement, the broken systems, and the human stories of struggle and resilience. It all came pouring out in a torrent of emotion. Amelia listened with growing concern and empathy. She had suspected that Marcus's undercover journey would yield significant insights, but the scope of what he had uncovered was beyond anything she had imagined. As Marcus's trusted advisor and friend, she knew that the coming days and weeks would be crucial in determining the future of TechVision. In the early hours of the morning, as the first light of dawn began to break over Richmond, Marcus and Amelia began to formulate a plan. They knew that the changes needed would be sweeping and, in some cases, painful. But they were both committed to creating a company that truly lived up to the ideals Marcus had envisioned when he first founded TechVision. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Marcus revealed his true identity to the entire company in a company-wide meeting that left employees stunned and curious. He shared his experiences as Michael Davis, the night janitor, careful to protect the identities of those who had unknowingly confided in him. The revelation was met with a mix of emotions: shock, betrayal, admiration, and hope. Marcus wasted no time in implementing changes. He launched a full investigation into the embezzlement scheme, resulting in the termination of several high-level executives and a complete overhaul of the accounting department. He instituted new policies to promote diversity and inclusion, creating mentorship programs and revising hiring practices to ensure equal opportunities for all employees. The physical workspace of TechVision underwent a transformation as well. Marcus allocated resources to upgrade the facilities for all employees, not just the upper echelons. He introduced flexible work arrangements and improved benefits, particularly for the lower-paid staff members whose struggles he had witnessed firsthand. Perhaps the most significant change was in Marcus himself. The experience of walking in the shoes of his employees had profoundly altered his perspective on leadership. He became more accessible, regularly engaging with staff at all levels. He implemented an open-door policy and began hosting monthly town hall meetings, where employees could voice their concerns and ideas directly to him. The journey of transformation was not without its challenges. Some employees and board members resisted the changes, uncomfortable with the new direction of the company. Marcus faced criticism from those who felt betrayed by his undercover operation. However, he remained steadfast in his commitment to creating a more equitable and transparent organization. As months passed, the effects of Marcus's undercover experience began to ripple through TechVision. Employee satisfaction scores rose, and the company saw a decrease in turnover rates. Innovation flourished as more diverse voices were brought to the table. The company's reputation in the industry began to shift, attracting talent who were drawn to its new culture of inclusivity and social responsibility. 1 year after his undercover journey began, Marcus stood once again at the windows of his office, looking out over Richmond. The view was the same, but his perspective had been irrevocably altered. He thought about Rosa, the single mother he had worked alongside, who was now enrolled in the company's new educational assistance program. He thought about Emily, the brilliant programmer whose ideas were now being recognized and implemented. He thought about Frank, whose institutional knowledge was being captured and shared through a new mentorship initiative. As Marcus reflected on the profound changes that had taken place, he felt a mix of pride and humility. He knew that the work was far from over. Creating lasting change would require ongoing effort and vigilance. But he was committed to the journey, armed with the insights and empathy he had gained from his time as Michael Davis. The experience had taught Marcus that true leadership wasn't about maintaining a facade of perfection or making decisions from an ivory tower. It was about understanding the lived experiences of every individual in the organization, from the C-suite to the custodial staff. It was about having the courage to face uncomfortable truths and the determination to address them head-on. As the sun set over Richmond, casting a warm glow over the city, Marcus made a silent promise to himself and to every employee of TechVision. He vowed to never lose touch with the human element of his company, to always strive for fairness and equality, and to lead with empathy and understanding. The undercover CEO had emerged from his journey not just with a laundry list of problems to solve, but with a profound appreciation for the dignity of every worker and a renewed sense of purpose. In the years that followed, TechVision became known not just for its technological innovations, but but for its revolutionary approach to corporate culture and employee welfare. Marcus Thompson's story became a case study in business schools, a testament to the power of empathetic leadership and the importance of understanding every level of an organization. The legacy of Michael Davis, the janitor who never really existed, lived on in the transformed culture of TechVision. It served as a constant reminder to Marcus and to all who knew the story that sometimes the most valuable insights come from the most unexpected places. And that true change begins when we have the courage to step outside our comfort zones and see the world through someone else's eyes. As TechVision continued to grow and evolve, Marcus never forgot the lessons he learned during those months as a janitor. He instituted an annual In Their Shoes program where executives spent a week working in various entry-level positions throughout the company. This initiative ensured that the empathy and understanding Marcus had gained continued to permeate the leadership culture of TechVision. The company's transformation didn't go unnoticed in the broader business world. Industry publications began to take note of TechVision's unique approach to corporate culture and employee relations. Marcus was invited to speak at conferences and seminars, sharing his experiences and the insights he had gained. His talks always emphasized the importance of understanding the day-to-day realities of all employees, not just those in the upper echelons of the company. However, Marcus was careful not to paint an overly rosy picture of his undercover experience or its aftermath. He was honest about the challenges they had faced and continued to face. Changing ingrained corporate culture was an ongoing process, filled with setbacks and resistance. There were still instances of bias and unfairness that needed to be addressed, but Marcus was committed to facing these issues head-on, always striving to create a more equitable and inclusive workplace. One of the most significant long-term impacts of Marcus's experience was on TechVision's approach to innovation. By fostering a more inclusive environment where all voices were heard, the company saw a surge in creativity and problem-solving. Ideas that might have been overlooked in the past were now being developed into groundbreaking products and services. TechVision's bottom line reflected this change, with profits steadily increasing year over year. Marcus also used his platform to advocate for change beyond the walls of TechVision. He became a vocal proponent for corporate transparency and ethical business practices. He lobbied for legislation that would protect whistleblowers and ensure fair labor practices across industries. His efforts earned him both admirers and critics, but Marcus remained steadfast in his belief that businesses had a responsibility to their employees and to society at large. As TechVision's influence grew, Marcus never lost sight of the individuals whose stories had touched him during his time as Michael Davis. He made it a point to stay connected with the custodial staff, often joining them for coffee or lunch to hear their perspectives on the company's ongoing evolution. These conversations continued to provide him with valuable insights and kept him grounded in the day-to-day realities of the workplace. The company's commitment to employee welfare extended beyond just improving working conditions. TechVision launched several initiatives aimed at addressing the broader challenges faced by its workforce. A subsidized childcare program was implemented, inspired by Marcus's observations of the struggles faced by working parents like Rosa. The company also partnered with local community colleges to offer educational opportunities for employees looking to advance their careers. Despite the positive changes, Marcus was acutely aware that maintaining this new culture required constant vigilance. He knew that complacency could easily lead to a regression to old habits and behaviors. To combat this, he encouraged ongoing dialogue and feedback from employees at all levels. Regular surveys and focus groups were conducted to gauge the effectiveness of new policies and to identify areas that still needed improvement. One of the most challenging aspects of TechVision's transformation was addressing the deep-seated issues of discrimination that Marcus had observed during his undercover stint. He realized that simply implementing new policies wasn't enough. They needed to tackle the root causes of bias and prejudice within the organization. To this end, TechVision developed a comprehensive diversity and inclusion training program that was mandatory for all employees, from entry-level staff to top executives. The program went beyond surface-level discussions of diversity, delving into topics such as unconscious bias, microaggressions, and the importance of allyship. It wasn't always a comfortable process. Many employees found themselves confronting their own biases and preconceptions. But Marcus believed that this discomfort was necessary for real growth and change. As the years passed, the impact of TechVision's cultural revolution began to extend beyond the company itself. Other corporations, inspired by Marcus's story and the success of TechVision, began to implement their own undercover boss programs and diversity initiatives. Marcus found himself in demand as a consultant, helping other CEOs navigate the challenges of creating more equitable and transparent corporate cultures. However, not everyone was supportive of Marcus's approach. Some critics argued that his undercover operation was a breach of trust, regardless of its positive outcomes. Others claimed that TechVision's focus on social responsibility was detracting from its core business. Marcus faced these criticisms head-on, always returning to the fundamental belief that had driven his actions, that understanding and empathy were essential to effective leadership. As TechVision celebrated its 20th anniversary, Marcus reflected on the journey that had brought the company to where it was today. The shy, ambitious young man who had started a small tech firm in his garage had grown into a leader who had fundamentally changed the way business was done in his industry. But more than the accolades and financial success, Marcus was proud of the lives he had touched and the positive change he had fostered. The company hosted a gala to mark the occasion, and as Marcus stood at the podium to address the gathered employees, investors, and media, he felt a surge of emotion. He looked out at the faces in the crowd, a diverse group of individuals who represented every level of the company. He saw Rosa, now a department manager, sitting proudly with her children who were interns in the company's youth program. He spotted Frank, retired but still a valued mentor, chatting animatedly with a group of young employees. Emily, once overlooked, was now leading TechVision's most innovative division. Marcus began his speech by recounting the story of Michael Davis, the janitor who had changed everything. He spoke of the lessons learned, the challenges overcome, and the ongoing journey towards creating a truly equitable workplace. As he talked, he could see the impact of his words reflected in the eyes of his audience. Some misty with emotion, others nodding in understanding and agreement. 20 years ago, Marcus said, his voice filled with passion, I thought I knew what success looked like. I measured it in profit margins and market share. But my time as Michael Davis taught me that true success is about more than numbers on a balance sheet. It's about the lives we touch, the communities we build, and the positive change we create in the world. He went on to outline TechVision's vision for the future. A future where technology and humanity worked hand in hand, where innovation was driven by empathy and understanding. He spoke of plans to expand their educational initiatives, to invest in sustainable technologies, and to continue pushing the boundaries of what a socially responsible corporation could achieve. As the gala wound down and guests began to depart, Marcus found himself drawn to a quiet corner of the room. There, mounted on the wall, was a simple janitorial uniform, the very one he had worn during his undercover journey. It served as a constant reminder of where this journey had begun, and the importance of never losing touch with the human element of business. In the weeks following the anniversary celebration, Marcus felt a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that the work was far from over, that maintaining and building upon the culture they had created would require ongoing effort and vigilance. But he also knew that TechVision was equipped to face these challenges head-on. One morning, as Marcus walked through the company's main entrance, he paused to chat with the security guard, a habit he had developed since his undercover days. As they talked, Marcus noticed a young woman nervously approaching the front desk. She was clutching a resume and looked overwhelmed by the bustling lobby. Without hesitation, Marcus walked over to her, introducing himself simply as Marcus, without mentioning his position. He asked about her aspirations and why she was interested in working at TechVision. As she spoke of her passion for technology and her desire to make a difference, Marcus saw a reflection of his younger self, full of ambition and hope. He spent the next half hour giving her a personal tour of the office, introducing her to various team members and explaining the company's culture. By the time they returned to the lobby, the young woman's nervousness had been replaced with excitement and determination. As Marcus watched her leave for her interview, he felt a profound sense of satisfaction. This, he realized, was the true measure of his success. Not just in the grand gestures and company-wide policies, but in these small, personal interactions that had the power to change lives. That evening, as Marcus prepared to leave the office, he received an email that caught his attention. It was from a small tech startup in a disadvantaged neighborhood of Richmond. They were reaching out to TechVision for mentorship and support. Without hesitation, Marcus replied, offering to meet with them personally. As he drove home that night, Marcus reflected on the journey that had brought him to this point. From a janitor's closet to the CEO's office, from focusing solely on profits to prioritizing people, it had been a transformative experience. He knew that there would always be new challenges to face, new lessons to learn, but he was ready for whatever lay ahead, armed with the knowledge that true leadership began with understanding, empathy, and a willingness to get one's hands dirty. The story of Marcus Thompson and TechVision continued to inspire others long after that anniversary gala. It became a case study in business schools, a topic of discussion in corporate boardrooms, and a source of hope for employees and companies around the world. It showed that with courage, empathy, and a commitment to doing what's right, one person could indeed make a difference. Not just in a company, but in an entire industry and beyond. As the years passed, Marcus never forgot the lessons he learned as Michael Davis. He continued to find ways to stay connected with employees at all levels of the company. He instituted a program where he would spend one day each month working in a different department, from customer service to product development to the mailroom. This not only kept him in touch with the day-to-day operations of the company, but also sent a powerful message about the dignity of all work. TechVision's commitment to social responsibility expanded beyond its own walls. The company launched a foundation dedicated to promoting tech education in underserved communities. They partnered with local schools to provide coding classes, set up computer labs, and offer mentorship programs. Marcus took a personal interest in these initiatives, often visiting schools to speak with students and share his own journey from a small-town kid with big dreams to a successful CEO. The company's influence began to reshape the tech industry's approach to corporate culture and employee welfare. Other firms, seeing TechVision's success, began to implement similar programs. Marcus was frequently invited to speak at industry conferences, sharing his experiences and advocating for a more humane approach to business. However, success brought its own set of challenges. As TechVision grew, Marcus found it increasingly difficult to maintain the close-knit, family-like atmosphere that had defined the company in its early years. He grappled with how to scale their culture and values along with their business operations. It was a constant balancing act between growth and maintaining the essence of what made TechVision special. One particularly difficult moment came when TechVision faced a potential merger with a larger tech conglomerate. The deal would have meant significant financial gains for the company and its shareholders, but it also threatened to undermine the unique culture Marcus had worked so hard to build. After weeks of sleepless nights and intense discussions with his leadership team, Marcus made the difficult decision to walk away from the deal. He believed that preserving TechVision's integrity and commitment to its employees and community was more important than short-term financial gains. This decision was met with mixed reactions. Some praised Marcus for staying true to his values, while others criticized him for passing up a lucrative opportunity. The incident sparked a broader conversation in the business world about the role of corporate values in decision-making and the balance between profit and social responsibility. As TechVision entered its third decade, Marcus began to think about the company's future beyond his own tenure. He knew that for the changes he had implemented to truly last, they needed to become ingrained in the very DNA of the organization. He started to focus on developing the next generation of leaders within the company, looking for individuals who not only had technical skills and business acumen, but also embodied the values of empathy, integrity, and social responsibility that had become hallmarks of TechVision's culture. Marcus instituted a leadership development program that emphasized these qualities. Potential future leaders were encouraged to spend time working in different roles throughout the company, much as Marcus had done during his undercover stint. They were also required to engage in community service and to demonstrate a commitment to social causes. As he approached his 60th birthday, Marcus began to seriously consider his succession plan. He wanted to ensure that whoever took over as CEO would continue to uphold the values and culture he had worked so hard to establish. After much deliberation, he decided that the best course of action was to groom a team of potential successors, rather than focusing on a single individual. This approach, he believed, would allow for a more diverse range of perspectives and would help to institutionalize the collaborative leadership style he had cultivated. In his final years as CEO, Marcus focused on solidifying TechVision's legacy. He worked with the board to enshrine the company's commitment to social responsibility and employee welfare in its charter. He also established an independent ethics committee to oversee the company's operations and ensure that it continued to live up to its values. On the day of his retirement, Marcus addressed the company one last time as CEO. As he looked out at the sea of faces, many of whom he knew personally, from the newest intern to the most senior executive, he felt an overwhelming sense of pride and gratitude. He spoke of the journey they had taken together, of the challenges they had overcome, and of his hopes for the future. "When I started this company," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "I had a vision of creating innovative technology. But along the way, I learned that the most important innovation isn't in our products, but in how we treat each other and how we impact the world around us. TechVision isn't just a company, it's a community, a family, and a force for positive change in the world. And that, more than any financial success or technological breakthrough, is what I'm most proud of." As Marcus stepped down from the podium to a standing ovation, he knew that his work wasn't really over. He would continue to be involved with the company as a board member and advisor, and he had plans to expand the TechVision Foundation's work in promoting tech education and social justice. In the years that followed, Marcus watched with pride as TechVision continued to thrive under new leadership. The company remained at the forefront of technological innovation, but more importantly, it stayed true to the values and culture that Marcus had instilled. The story of the CEO who went undercover as a janitor became a legend in the business world, a testament to the power of empathy, integrity, and the courage to challenge the status quo. Marcus's legacy extended far beyond the walls of TechVision. His approach to leadership and corporate responsibility inspired a new generation of business leaders who sought to balance profit with purpose. The ripple effects of his actions could be seen in companies across industries as more and more organizations began to prioritize employee welfare and social impact alongside financial success. As he reflected on his journey, from a janitor's closet to the boardroom and beyond, Marcus knew that he had lived up to the promise he had made to himself all those years ago. He had created a company that truly lived up to his ideals. And in doing so, he had changed not just TechVision, but the very nature of what it meant to be a successful business in the 21st century. The story of Marcus Thompson and TechVision served as a powerful reminder that true leadership isn't about titles or corner offices. It's about having the courage to see things as they really are, the empathy to understand the experiences of others, and the determination to create positive change. It showed that sometimes the most valuable insights come from the most unexpected places, and that the key to building a truly great company lies in valuing every individual, from the CEO to the night janitor. As the sun set on Marcus's career, casting long shadows across the Richmond skyline, he knew that his greatest achievement wasn't the fortune he had amassed or the technological breakthroughs he had overseen. It was the lives he had touched, the culture he had created, and the example he had set for others to follow. And somewhere in the halls of TechVision, a simple janitor's uniform hung on display, a silent testament to the power of walking in another's shoes and the transformative potential of truly seeing and valuing every member of an organization. The legacy of Marcus Thompson and his unconventional approach to leadership continued to resonate long after his retirement. TechVision became a beacon of ethical business practices and employee-centric policies in the corporate world. The company's success story was not just about financial growth, but about creating a sustainable model that prioritized human values alongside technological innovation. 5 years after Marcus's retirement, TechVision faced its biggest challenge yet. A global economic downturn hit the tech industry hard, forcing many companies to lay off employees and cut costs drastically. TechVision's board of directors was under immense pressure from shareholders to follow suit and trim the workforce to maintain profit margins. However, the leadership team, trained in Marcus's philosophy, took a different approach. They remembered the lessons learned during the Michael Davis era and refused to see their employees as mere numbers on a balance sheet. Instead, they implemented a series of innovative measures to weather the storm without resorting to mass layoffs. The company introduced a voluntary reduced hours program, allowing employees to work fewer hours with a proportional pay cut. Many employees, appreciating the transparency and fairness of the approach, opted into the program. TechVision also reallocated resources, temporarily shifting some employees to departments that were still growing, ensuring that skills were retained within the company. Perhaps most importantly, the executive team took substantial pay cuts themselves, demonstrating their commitment to shared sacrifice. This decision, widely publicized, earned TechVision immense goodwill, both internally and externally. As the economy slowly recovered, TechVision emerged stronger than ever. The loyalty and dedication shown by the company towards its employees during tough times was repaid manifold. Productivity soared as workers, feeling secure and valued, poured their energy into innovation and problem-solving. TechVision's reputation as an employer of choice attracted top talent, further fueling its growth. The company's handling of the crisis became a case study in business schools worldwide, showcasing how ethical leadership and long-term thinking could triumph over short-term profit motives. It was a vindication of Marcus's vision and a testament to the enduring power of the culture he had built. Meanwhile, Marcus himself had not been idle in retirement. He channeled his energy into expanding the work of the TechVision Foundation. The foundation's focus on promoting tech education in underserved communities had already made significant impacts, but Marcus had even bigger plans. Inspired by his experiences as Michael Davis, Marcus launched a new initiative called TechBridge. This program aimed to create pathways into the tech industry for individuals from non-traditional backgrounds, people like the janitors, security guards, and maintenance workers he had worked alongside during his undercover days. TechBridge offered free coding boot camps, mentorship programs, and internship opportunities at TechVision and partner companies. The program was designed not just to teach technical skills, but also to instill the soft skills and confidence needed to succeed in the corporate world. The impact of TechBridge was profound. Within its first 3 years, the program had helped over 1,000 individuals transition into tech careers, many of them landing jobs at TechVision itself. The diversity of thought and experience these new employees brought to the company proved invaluable, driving innovation in unexpected ways. One of the most heartwarming success stories came from Maria Rodriguez, the daughter of Rosa, the single mother Marcus had befriended during his time as a janitor. Maria, inspired by the changes she had seen in her mother's life, thanks to TechVision's policies, had pursued a degree in computer science. After graduating, she joined TechBridge as a mentor, helping others like her mother access opportunities in the tech world. As TechBridge gained national attention, other tech companies began to take notice. Several reached out to Marcus, seeking guidance on how to implement similar programs. Marcus saw this as an opportunity to expand the impact of his vision beyond TechVision. He began consulting with these companies, helping them develop their own versions of TechBridge, tailored to their specific needs and communities. The ripple effects of these programs began to reshape the tech industry's workforce. Slowly but surely, the demographics of Silicon Valley and other tech hubs started to shift, becoming more representative of the diverse communities they served. This influx of diverse perspectives led to a new wave of innovation, with products and services that better addressed the needs of a wider range of users. As Marcus approached his 70th birthday, he found himself reflecting on the incredible journey that had led him to this point. From his humble beginnings to his rise as a tech CEO, from his transformative experience as an undercover janitor to his current role as a mentor and advocate for inclusive tech education, each step had shaped his understanding of what truly mattered in business and in life. He decided to encapsulate these lessons in a book titled The View from the Ground: Lessons in Leadership and Life from an Undercover CEO. The book was part memoir, part leadership guide, chronicling Marcus's experiences and the insights he had gained along the way. The book became an instant bestseller, resonating with readers from all walks of life. Business leaders praised its practical wisdom, while employees found inspiration in its message of empowerment and dignity in all work. Schools and universities added it to their curricula, using it to teach ethics, leadership, and social responsibility. But perhaps the most meaningful response came from the countless individuals who reached out to Marcus to share how his story had impacted their lives. There were CEOs who had been inspired to reassess their leadership styles, employees who felt validated in their work, and young people who saw new possibilities for their futures in the tech industry. One particularly touching letter came from a night janitor at a tech company in California. The janitor wrote about how reading Marcus's book had given him a new sense of pride in his work and the courage to share his ideas with his supervisors. Those ideas had led to significant improvements in the company's recycling program, saving costs and reducing environmental impact. As Marcus read these responses, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He realized that his legacy wasn't just about the success of TechVision or the impact of TechBridge. It was about the shift in perspective he had helped to create, a recognition of the inherent dignity and potential in every individual, regardless of their job title or background. The janitor's uniform that hung in TechVision's headquarters had become more than just a piece of company lore. It was a symbol of this new perspective, a reminder to everyone who walked through those doors that true innovation and success come from valuing and empowering every member of an organization. As Marcus looked to the future, he saw challenges ahead: the rapid pace of technological change, the growing divide between tech hubs and underserved communities, the ethical quandaries posed by artificial intelligence and data privacy. But he also saw hope. He saw a new generation of leaders, inspired by his example, who were committed to using technology as a force for good in the world. He knew that the work was far from over, that there would always be new battles to fight and new minds to open. But as he looked back on the journey that had begun with a simple decision to go undercover, Marcus felt a profound sense of gratitude. He had set out to learn about his company and had ended up learning about humanity itself. The legacy of Michael Davis, the janitor who never really existed, continued to live on, not just in the policies and programs of TechVision, but in the countless lives touched by a simple yet powerful idea: that every person, regardless of their role, has value, has a story, and has the potential to make a difference. As the sun set on another day in Richmond, casting a golden glow over the city Marcus had called home for so many years, he smiled to himself. He knew that somewhere out there, perhaps in a company much like TechVision had once been, another leader was having an epiphany about the true nature of their organization. And perhaps inspired by his story, they too would find the courage to step out of their comfort zone and see their world through new eyes. The story of Marcus Thompson, the CEO who became a janitor to save his company, had become more than just a tale of personal transformation. It had become a catalyst for change, a call to action for leaders everywhere to look beyond the bottom line and see the humanity in their organizations, and in doing so, to not only build better companies, but to contribute to building a better world. As Marcus closed his eyes that night, he felt a deep sense of peace. He knew that the ripples of change he had set in motion would continue long after he was gone, carried forward by each person who dared to challenge the status quo, who chose empathy over indifference, and who recognized the extraordinary potential in every ordinary moment. And somewhere in the night, a janitor pushed a cleaning cart down a quiet hallway, unseen but essential, carrying within them dreams, ideas, and the potential to change the world. The legacy of Michael Davis lived on, a silent reminder that sometimes the most profound truths are found in the most unexpected places.